Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by again. In this video I'm going to show you how we went from just having the plate roughed up to how we find out thickness to the dimensions that we want, and then how we come about putting the tone bars, the rim that we did in the previous video, and also laying out and cutting out our apertures. So stick around because this sounds promising. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using a spotlight, and then that can show you exactly where you have extra wood to be removed. So if you look here, there's a darker line which shouldn't be there. Like if I go at the back, I can feel a ridge there. So and there's nothing from the top. So I'll go on the caliper and check for any discrepancy on the thickness. This is the side where the light was showing that we had an extra ridge. So here I'm going down, the caliper goes back up, back down, so that's the ridge right there. See, it goes both ways and it should be a continuous line. And if I refer to my drawing, this section should be in about the 145 to 150, and I'm at 170. I maxed out at 175. So this ridge I'm gonna have to be sanding from underneath. So car scrapers and sandpaper. Go slow here because I stay away from power tools because I don't want to remove too much. You can't put wood back on, obviously. So I'll get you guys back after I did all the final adjustment, and then we're gonna get started on the layout for the apertures. So what I'm doing right now is just adding a bit of layout basically to know where the outline of my apertures are going to be on the inside, because the template I won't be able to fit the template after the rim is glued onto the body. Okay, so I've made the layout of my tone bars. This one here, being the base tone bar, is more on an angle than this one being the treble side, because it's straighter. The reason why I put them this way is because the treble side doesn't need as much stiffness, having thinner strings than the bass side. So the bass side, you want to grab more growth rings, and that way that's going to create more support. And by using a straighter approach on the treble side, you don't have as much growth rings into the glue up, therefore that allows for a bit more movement on this side. I also made a mark here. This is where my bridge is going to be. I'm using here, for just to show you guys, this is the bridge I made for the mandola construction. There is a video on that if you want to see how I made that, so I'll leave a link in the description. And if I center it, you can see that it sits on, like from the top side obviously, but it will be sitting right on the tone bars, and we do want that. And also I'm probably gonna put a cross brace across here to add some stiffness, because I got the plate to a very thin state. Like I'm really happy on the thickness, but I just want to add an extra strength here. So that would be where it would go. So it would go from the treble side to the bass side. So now we have the plate flipped over, so I'm just going to redo the alignment here. And this is where the top of my aperture is, and the bottom here. I guess we could put the points just to help the alignment. And I do the same for the other side. So now I'm using the drawing of the actual apertures, and I'm going to line up with those lines like such. This is here. So I've just located the plate onto the rim, making sure that my center matches front and back, and my center is obviously the joint of the two sides of the mold. Now what I can do is just press down to make sure that it's basically like a dry fit, make sure that my kerf is not higher and that I'm gonna have a nice tight fit all around. That's good. Then the next step will be to trace underneath. What I use for that is like a leftover of a pencil, and I'm gonna put pressure around, and what I want to do is scribe a line, and I'm not gonna sand all the way to the line, but I want to remove the excess material that I don't want to have to deal with later. So you can see the excess here. So like, I'm not gonna sand any of this section here, but this section I can bring to about 1/8 of an inch like here. So as you can see here, I roughed out 2 pieces of tone bar off of a piece of lumber like this one. This is quarter sawn, rift sawn woodwork also. So my tone bars are all done. I have a very good fit on the soundboard. This here is a little brace for underneath the bridge, so it goes from the treble side right underneath the bridge and goes on an angle to add more strength on the bass side. And it's a very thin piece of spruce, so it's just to add extra strength. So what I'm doing right now is just making sure that because I'm gonna notch it in, so I made a notch in my tone bar. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the tone bar is not too loose in there. So if I press right now, it's a bit tight, so I'm going to remove a bit more wood on this little piece here, sand it down, and then I'll do the other side, then do dry fit and glue up. So this is the Go bar press. That's usually what hangs on my wall right behind me there. What that does, it's a structure with a top and a bottom where you can actually put longer than the opening pieces of wood. In my case, it's white oak, and I can apply downwards pressure on whatever I have to clamp. So it's a clamping system. The way it works is just that you just have to see the length here. Like my piece is longer than the opening, and then you just have to bend it in place, and then it applies the pressure. So I made sure that all my pieces were fitting well together, that they're all located in their proper locations and that I don't have any gap. So what I'm going to do is start gluing up. I'm going to do only one side at a time, so I'm going to remove those three strips right here. So while the tone bars are drying up, I want to install a gauze on the area where the apertures are. So the gauze come in a roll. It's that kind of little fabric that you would put on a wound. The reason why I'm putting that on is that where the apertures are going to be, or the F-holes are going to be, over time what happens is that there's, especially on an arch top, it's that there's cracking happening somewhere along the aperture, checking or cracking. So a luthier would have to open up the instrument, and to perform the fix would have to glue one of those in to hold the plate together. So I want to install that as a preventive measure so that this never happens and that the instrument doesn't have to be reopened for that purpose. So I cut my piece that's going to fit right here. And for those of you who wonder, it is a common practice. There's a lot of luthiers out there that add this piece in there. How do I locate the piece here? Is like, I don't think you're going to see them on the camera, but if you remember when I did some layout, I put some areas where the apertures were going to be from the inside, so that way I can locate this piece. So this is the outline of the aperture. Right here at the bottom you can see the faint line. That used to be what the aperture was supposed to look like. I moved it in a bit, just the bottom section here, because the old template was too close to the curve. So what I did is just use the same template and moved it in a bit and tied it up to the drawing. So I'll do the same on the other side, and that way I'll stay clear of the curve. So now that the cut is made, we just need to bring our cut to the line, because I cut inside the line. So what I'm using is a very small file. It's got a flat and round profile, and I'm wrapping this up in a 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to go around and sand to the line everywhere. I don't want to go too far here, because those apertures are going to be reshaped a bit later when we have everything on it, and the bridge is sitting on it with the string tension. And then we're going to be able to tune the whole body. It's called voicing, and we're going to open up those apertures. So thanks again for stopping by for this installment. I really hope you enjoyed it and how we came about to put every part that we did so far together. Next video coming up will be about tap tuning the inside tone bars. So I had a few requests on to make a video about this. So this is going to be coming up shortly, I hope. And then from there we'll be able to start making the video after that will be the back. The back is a flat back, although it's not completely flat. It's going to have a bit of an arch that we're going to create with the back bracing and a jig. So I'll show you in that video how to come about to do that. Something I'm going to do off camera is the binding. This is from Stumac. It's ebony binding, and that's what we're going to use to do the binding around the instrument. Since the instrument is out of the jig, I'll be able to use the jig the bending iron to shape those and put those in the jig the same way I did the sides. So there's not going to be a video on how to do the binding because it's the exact same process as the sides. The binding is already thickness from the supplier, so I don't have to do any sanding on them. They're just ready to go on the bending iron and such. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you're going to consider clicking the button and like and share if you think it's worth sharing. And until next time, I wish you well.